Oh, I'm sorry. Are we live? I'm sorry. I was taking a nap. But no, I'm just. Ouch,
Thank
that
you.
hurt. That's for that's pay that's payback for all the times you went. I remember.
But that's also that high-fi fidelity we're getting with that new Skype that has just released for Linux. 4.2 came out. TotalOS today is using it, and so am I.
Yes,
But you know
yes.
what? A lot of people are having a lot of they're having a lot of second thoughts about using Skype because
Why?
apparently um, Microsoft is able to eavesdrop on anything that you do with this. So let's say
Oh,
you're sharing confidential
yeah.
company information between
Yes.
parties across the world and that sort of thing, and somebody sitting in Redmond can get
Mm-mm.
this information and that sort of thing. And so people are kind of losing trust in that. So
Well,
it's funny.
yeah.
Earlier today I was looking at some alternatives to Skype. I didn't see anything I particularly liked, with the exception of Google Plus, Hangouts, and that sort of thing.
Right. Well, I mean, I hope that's not true. But if it's true, hey, Microsoft, kiss my kernels. But anyway, well, look, there's been some talk about the privacy issue with the new Xbox One. It's supposed to be connected to the internet all the time, from what I understand. Nothing's been totally finalized yet. We'll probably know at the E3 Electronics Show next month in June. But yeah, I mean, I hope that's not the case, and if it's some truth to that, there should be a way to, switch on privacy mode or whatever you want to call it. At the very least, give me the option. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, Mark Shuttleworth's making news. Mark Shuttleworth is pushing Mir, Ubuntu Touch, and he's trying to get this across multiple platforms. Now, apparently, they were going to be using Wayland, and apparently that didn't fit. So they decided to go with their Mir platform,
uh,
and this is raising a little bit of a stir in the Linux community. I can remember talking with Anthony Norman, the developer of Pinguy OS, and he feels that this is going to be a disaster for Ubuntu. Namely because a lot of the applications that we have for Linux right now may not actually run on Mir, and so
right,
these
yeah.
applications have to be reworked in order to work with this. So, but
Well,
how this is going to fit into the Linux ecosphere, I really don't know just yet. I mean, it's still too early to tell. Now, the next Ubuntu 13.10, I believe, will give us a preview of what Mirror is going to be like.
mm,
Now, I guess once that releases, we can take a look at it and kind of see what we can do with it.
right,
But
right. Well, look, Spatchy, look, this is at this point, it's pure speculation. We can guess, but until there is a bona fide official preview release, as you said in the next one,
yeah,
how can you really yeah, you can comment and speculate, but that's as far as we can go. So,
yeah, exactly.
yeah. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, apparently Samsung is rocking with smartphone sales. They are apparently conquering the China market in quarter 1. Now, of course, the question is, are these the actual Galaxy phones or the knockoff Schmalaxy phones? Which ones are they, right? I don't know.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
there's.
Yeah, well,
I happen to like Samsung. As a matter of fact,
yes. Meets.
those are the
Yes.
best phones I've ever owned. You
Yes.
know, excellent quality and that sort of thing. But yeah, if they're making ground, that's great because they're making more money for Microsoft for every phone that they sell. Microsoft's. As a matter of fact, I think Microsoft's making more money off of Android than they are off of Windows 8, which is
How
sad.
ironic. Right, right. Well, it says, well, yeah, but happy for them, right? But it says here that the Galaxy phone or the smartphones are more than doubling Apple's phones devices sold over there in China. Speaking of Apple, Did you know that the very first Apple One computer was auctioned off at a very rock bottom price of only 670 plus $1,000? Talk about apples and oranges, mamma mia. But I mean, come on. All right, so there's a
Well, I'm
there's
sure somebody will be able to hack it to be able to run Windows 1.0.
you're right. Yeah. Or wait, even better, Arch. Yeah, but
It's funny you mentioned that because uh, there's this Synarch successor called Ontergos, and
okay.
it comes with a graphical installer. And I went to go through the procedure of installing this thing in VirtualBox,
Yeah.
and it didn't work. I go to
Okay.
reboot the
Yeah.
computer, and it's saying it can't find anything.
Well, you
Uh,
tried, you tried, you tried.
well, actually, what I think I'll end up doing is I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Use the command line installer, and
Okay.
then do a review on that. And while we're on computers,
Yes.
uh, Intel demoed a Tizen laptop. And this is a GNOME-powered Ultrabook.
Ah,
And so it has a UI based on GNOME Shell. It's a nifty little thing here, too. Um, Now, we know that we've got the Chromebooks out and that sort of thing, so having an Ubuntu-powered laptop being brought to the market would be another great
yeah.
addition. And it looks like
Yes.
now we're starting to see a lot more choices in the marketplace, which is something,
Yes.
people have been wanting to see.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, now I've uh, Now I've had some word from some salespeople in the technology world that some people like to return the Chromebooks because they don't really understand how to use them.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that. Yeah. We should
But
probably do a short podcast on what Chromebooks can or cannot do. I don't have them, but I understand how they operate. But
yeah,
if it's a newbie coming to this, expecting to, for this to work like your Microsoft
Hmm.
laptop, it's not quite the same, right? Yeah.
But I was also reading another article just earlier today, as a matter of fact, that there's another computer that's coming out from HP that's going to be Android powered.
Oh,
A laptop computer with Android,
cool.
and
Cool.
HP is really excited about this. I don't have that article in front of me right now, but the thing is, a lot of people are going to adopt that because obviously, especially people that are using Android on a day-to-day basis, of course,
Uh,
they're going to want to try
right.
a laptop computer that has that. And then, of course, if they decide that really doesn't fit the bill for them, they can always
Yes.
uninstall it and put a
Right.
different Linux distribution on there.
Right.
HP is well known for being compatible uh, and compact, for that matter. Well, they're both the
Uh,
same company essentially.
uh,
You know, every HP computer I've tried to install Linux on, everything worked right out of the box. Didn't have to
okay.
install anything special. No proprietary drivers needed. Everything just ran.
Yeah.
And so that's great to see HP and other companies like this
Yeah.
uh, doing this sort of thing.
Yeah.
I even had somebody ask me today. They said, I don't know. I'm thinking about purchasing this new laptop I saw, but it ships with Linux on it. What should
Mhm.
I do? I've never even heard of Linux. Is
Yeah.
Linux good? You
Yeah.
know, and I basically told the person, Linux is a very powerful operating system, and it does give you a lot more freedoms than Windows
Yes.
does. However,
Yeah.
you know, if you are dependent on Windows software, you may want to install a copy of Windows alongside Linux,
Yes. Right.
and then use both. So,
Yeah, I mean, look, I like to dual boot. I like to have the best of both worlds. Why not? It's all about choice. Obviously, in Linux, you have more choices. I chose not to upgrade to Windows 8 because I don't have a touchscreen, but I'm sticking with Windows 7. And but yeah, why not do both? That way, if for some reason something doesn't work in Linux, use Windows or vice versa. Why not? Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and on that same vein, it's funny because I'm always looking for different ways that I can improve my video productions.
Yeah.
And I'm the proud owner of Sony Vegas, and I have several different plugins to go with it. And well, I decided to try it in VMware.
Okay.
and just to see if I could get it working. And to my surprise, I was able to get it working. But you know
Okay.
what? I
Yeah.
found that, most of the things that I can do in Vegas,
Hmm.
I can do that much faster in Kadian Live. Now,
Yeah.
granted, I don't have all the fancy schmancy plugins. I can't get them working within, I
Yeah.
can't get them working within Kadian Live. But the thing is, the plugins that we do have,
Yeah.
I've been able to replicate just about everything that I can do in Cadian Live versus Sony Vegas and get it done, get the job done in half the
Right.
time. This is
Yes.
amazing.
It's generally faster in
So,
Linux, but the flip side is the multimedia suites, the editors tend to be a little bit more stable in Windows. So, it's kind of a, give and take here. Kden Live does tend to crash. It's getting better. I've never had a crash using a Windows multimedia. I mean,
mhm.
the video. It just hasn't happened. I'm not saying it can't, but it's a little slower. So,
but
it's a give and take. Yeah.
but the beauty of this is though, anytime I've got my hand on the Control S keys all the time when working in Cadian Live. But even if it does crash, you go to reopen your file and it will ask you if you want to recover it right away, and you can
Right.
just pick up right where you left off. So
Yes. Yes.
that really isn't an issue. I got some gaming for you now.
Okay.
It appears that a lot of people who like the football, the football manager games version 2014 that's coming out will support Linux, and this is all thanks to Steam. The
Okay.
game will be available to buy on one platform, but install and play it on any. So if you have a
Hmm.
Mac, you have Windows partitions or a Linux partition, you buy
Yeah.
the game, you can install it on any platform, which is really great.
Cool.
And then, of course, it will have the cross-play, enabling connection with playing against Mac and other
Right.
PC users
Right.
and that sort of thing. And basically, it's just a simulation game.
Yeah.
The goal, pun intended, is to buy, sell, build, and train the ultimate football team and play them against others in various tournaments and cups, and with the aim of coming out on the top. So,
Ah, okay. Yeah, I have a little bit of gaming news. The Microsoft had a reveal, had a exposure show. This was it this past Monday. The new Xbox One. Uh, Briefly saw a demonstration. It should be a beast of a machine for what it is. 8 cores, I believe, 8 gigs of RAM, voice control, gesture, motion control. Now there's been some rumors speculating that the of course, one thing was the privacy issue, and none of the games being backwards compatible. You won't be able to play used games. If you go to his friend's house, you want to play a game, you have to pay for the game again. I mean, this is just stuff that's been thrown out there. For
mhm.
myself, just like whether it's Windows news or Linux news, I'll wait till the final release to give you my final comments. But from what I saw, the console looks amazing, and as well it should if they're going to charge whatever they're going to charge, $500 or $600. So you know,
Hmm.
but we have to wait and see. But that's the next generation, and apparently now, of course, battery. It's called the Xbox One. Really? You've gone from the 360 to the one. This is a downgrade. You know what I mean? I mean, that's all you can think of. I mean, couldn't you call it the Xbox Universe? The Xbox Terminator, or well,
And it's
but
powered by Arch Linux.
yes. But I told my son that joke, and he was kind of laughing. But I get a Microsoft Xbox One, one for all, to handle all of your gaming needs, and all for one. Okay, fine, keep it simple. I like simple, but I had to
From
crack
the
it.
Open Source Insider, they have an article titled here Free World of Tanks Game Blasts Xbox
Hmm.
One Away.
Uh-huh.
Given all the brouhaha surrounding the Microsoft new Xbox One this week, it is comforting to see that free and open sourced online computer game development and publishing is alive and well. No, Xbox One secondhand games have been rumored to be subject to a price hike or fix.
Ooh.
Although Microsoft has said that reports thus far are inaccurate, a complete picture is yet to emerge. Famed for its World of Tanks game, UK and America based Wargaming has announced details for the version 8.6 update of the game at the same time as its commitment to three frontline open source development foundations.
Mm,
Wargaming will now support the Linux Software Foundation, the Django Software Foundation, and the Wikimedia Foundation. Wargame relies heavily on a number of different open source technologies to help us create our legendary MMO universe. Whether it's using Linux to power our servers, Django to build our web project frameworks, or Wikimedia to help us in our research efforts.
yeah. Well, look, gaming is a big business potentially on any platform. So, I actually I was asked a question, Spatry. Someone wanted to turn his PC into a Linux gaming PC. I'm like, oh man, I'm not a PC gamer. So I just posted a video question, and I got back three answers. I got back either Ubuntu, with Steam, of course, Linux Mint, or Linux Lite. And I'm like, hey, sounds good to me. So why not?
Yeah. Now, as we're talking, I'm actually opening up Steam just to see if there's a new count on the games. But it seems like every day,
Hmm.
or every other day, I'm starting to see more and more games coming into Steam now.
Nice.
Obviously, games that are older that they've had out for quite a
Yeah.
while,
Yeah.
they're not going to come up at the top of the list.
Right.
But let me see here. Just out of curiosity, I'm
Okay.
just interested to see what it's gone up to now. Yeah, 191 games are now available on Steam. So we've
Cool.
had, an increase of two, and of course, the X3 series, which happens to be my favorite, Reunion,
Hmm.
uh, the Terran Conflict, and Albion Prelude packages
Okay.
are out. It seems like every time I load up Steam, they're always downloading updates for it.
Hmm.
So, because I did notice that, especially the Albion Prelude, that one tends to
Hmm.
crash, especially if I'm in the middle of this huge epic
Uh,
space battle, and I've got all of my ships and
yeah. Yeah. Well,
playing.
you know what? I may give Steam and video drivers another crack the next Ubuntu LTS next year because I'm still kind of curious about it, to be honest. But I'm not quite there yet. Yeah.
You got to check out my tutorial on how I installed the ATI drivers from the ATI website. If you take that
I might
that
take a look at it.
file,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, and
Okay.
you build your deb packages.
Okay.
Okay. What's really nice about this is when it comes time for an update, you can and upgrade your kernel.
Yeah.
You can DKMS, when that's installed, will update your video driver, so you won't run into any issues.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's really nice. And by the way, another piece of news, I found this neat little application, and this is something you guys can Google. For those of you who want to use Pac-Man like commands in your terminal, there is a wrapper for apt called Pack Apt.
Hmm.
And basically, what it allows you to do is, instead of typing in sudo apt-get update, now you can type in Pacman dash syu, for instance, to update your system, and it will do that. So for those of you who like issuing Pacman commands, there is
Hmm.
PacApt. Google it, check it out, download it. It's a tiny little file. Doesn't interfere with anything, so you can still type in your normal sudo apt-get install this, or you can,
You still have a
install
little
this.
bit of arch blood in you, don't you?
Well, the thing is, that's the thing I really liked, the ease of using
Hmm.
Pacman.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
good
Okay.
stuff.
Well, let's see. I don't know if I really have any nonsense, but more of a, well, let me first throw this piece of news at you. Then I have a piece.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
This is not, this is not that bad, but the personal thing that happened might be very funny. But last week I was watching one of the satellite channels, Patchy, like a car auction show, right?
Hmm.
How much is an American car worth? They auctioned off a '67 Ford Mustang. from the movie Gone with the Wind. No, Gone in 60 Seconds. Starring Clark Gable. No, but starring Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
It auctioned for, would you care to take a guess?
Uh, 2 million.
1 million bucks.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, the car looks cool. It's a 67. It's a classic. It's from a movie, but it's a Ford. $1 million. It wasn't like a Lexus or a Lamborghini, a Ferrari. I mean, not to take anything away from the car. It's beautiful, but $1 million for a Ford? But I'm not in that business, so I don't know. But to me, that seemed a bit like nonsense to me. But hey, I'm not an expert on that. But the personal nonsense was, I was going to tell you that, and I spoke to IG briefly about this. I bought a new used car because I wanted something with better lumbar support for my back. Now, this particular car, I was thinking, it's a used car, so maybe I should check my spare tire just in case. When you think that's a, simple thing to do, right?
Hmm.
So I'm trying to release. Now, my spare tire battery is underneath the car, and it's held down by a cable, by a winch, right? You know what I mean, right? So, you grab your little scissors jack kit and you peel off a piece of the carpet and you're unscrewing this bolt and the tire drops, right? Right. 15 minutes later, it ain't dropping. I'm like, oh, come on. What am I doing wrong? But I'm okay, look, it's a new vehicle for me. I got to get used to this. So I Googled it. To make a long story short, this car manufacturer, Buick, they they put what's called a secondary latch on the car, on this tire. And what it is, in case the cable breaks, the latch catches the tire so it won't fly off.
Hmm.
Not a bad idea, but here's the catch, Spatry. Try taking the friggin' tire off. I took it to my local service station. It took them over half an hour. And you expect me to pull over the side of the road with the flat, cars whizzing by on the highway? No, let me get under the car with my blowtorch or whatever, or wrench, and let me pull the tire. Come on, car manufacturers, what are you thinking?
You
But
know what else gets me? You go out and buy a brand new vehicle,
yeah,
and as soon as you drive it off the lot, it has already lost 50%
that's
of its value.
unless of course you buy a Ford, Ford Mustang, right? Yeah, but no, that's true though.
Doesn't Ford stand for Fix or Repair Daily? No, I'm kidding. I'm sure.
Yes, and I'm sure there's one for Dodge and the other ones, but look, just a little personal rant, and I mentioned it before. I'll post it on the other show with IG, but it's like now once they took my spare tire off, don't you dare put it back. Do not put it back. I'm not gonna. Don't just.
Just leave it in the trunk, right
I'm
where it's
putting it
easier
in
to
the
get.
hatchback, right? Just if I go on a trip, there is no way. If it takes you guys 30 minutes and you're mechanics, how long will it take me? 2 days? So yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
I'm sure they probably had other vehicles in queue ahead of them, so really didn't take them a half hour to get it off of there,
yes, it
unless
did. No, it took it.
really.
I'm serious. They had a. By the time they, put it on the lift. Well, first they were trying to do it like without the lift. It ain't gonna happen. Then I came back and they lifted up and they had to do this, penetrating oil and this and jiggling back and forth. It took a while and I felt so bad. I said just don't put it back, okay? So
Well, maybe it had, the bolt or whatever had rusted into place or something like
well,
that.
it had, yeah, something with the rust and stuff, but that doesn't help the poor schmo who's pulled over the side of the road trying to change his spare. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anyway, that's my personal nonsense. So that's all I have.
All
That's
right, well, that's all we've got for this news and nonsense report. Total OS today. Thank you for being with me here. And Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, UTC -5. We will be on Mumble, and we will be having the best of the news and nonsense report. And links will be in the show notes, and instructions for connecting to us will be there. I look forward to seeing
yes.
you there.
Should be fun.
And
Yep. Yep.
oh yeah, so we'll recap all of the
Maybe
one.
not all of them. That'll take days. Maybe the top 10 or something. How does that sound? Okay. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
uh, hey, is this the part where we can uncensor the beefy miracle joke I made before?
No. We can talk about what was, but that's as far as we can go. No.
And
Any
really, that wasn't even dirty, and it got censored.
Shut up. Yes, that's yeah, we will talk about it, but it's a family show. Thank you very much.
Okay,
That's
get
it.
off of my Skype!
Ouch, that hurts. Your microphone's too close to your mouth. Goodbye.